One of the key ideas amongst all this new language of awakening, which I've created to help facilitate the process for people, make it simple and clear, is the idea of paralogical thinking, which sounds a bit scary to me. I mean, I had great worries about this phrase because, paralogical thinking, But actually, it's really simple, but profound. I sometimes call it both and thinking. And what it is, it's saying, look, normally we have to look at things logically, and I'm a big fan of logical thinking. But we should think logically, we should try and think more logically. I'm not one of those people that dismisses that. But logical thinking is either or thinking. It's either this or it's that. But to understand the depths of life and of our own self, we need to be able to think paralogically and to realize that at the depths, life is inherently paradoxical. So it's not this or that, it's both this and that, or its opposites coexist. Now, the way I use in the book, The Mystery Experience, is to come in through quantum physics, because I'm a big fan of science. Because they're out there. I mean, they really are out there, these guys. And there's people like Niels Bohr, the quantum physicist, and people 100 years ago now, who were looking into the nature of light and discovered something fascinating. They discovered that if you set up an experiment one way, light was made up of discrete particles. But then if you set it up another way, it was one wave. And they were faced with, well, which is it? Is it this or is it that? And they made this incredible jump of going, it's both, depending on how you look at it. It's fundamentally paradoxical. Now, that's not a new idea. You can go back to ancient China with the yin-yang symbol, where you've got the black and the white, and it's the opposites coexist within each other. And this is a re-emergence of this ancient idea. And what I'm trying to do is present it in a way which can help us understand, just about, could apply to anything actually, is to see that if you want to see the depths, you need to be able to embrace paradox and think paralogically. So one of the things which I often talk about is how mysterious life is. And it is. But also we understand a lot, which we do. So often people hear it when you say, oh, you don't know anything, life's a mystery. It feels like, well, yeah, I do, that's crazy. So which is it? Well, it's both. On the surface, here I am, I'm Tim Freke, I write books, I'm very well educated, I can talk about quantum physics, and that's all true. But underneath, I have no idea what this is. What anything. No ideas can match this moment, it's impossible. So which is it? It's both. When you think paralogically, you can see these sit side by side. So that really helps. Because then, when somebody says to you, look, well, as I do, the doorway into the deep awake state, into a spiritual awakening, is through the mystery. You don't have to pretend you don't know everything you know. You just have to see that as well as that, there's this profound mystery, and to pay that some attention. And if you do, this other state opens up. And you start seeing the whole of life is permeated by this paradox. I mean, one of my favorites is, to take my hand, and there it is, nice and solid, my hand, legs, body. And then to realize that we know now, from the work of some great physicists, that it's not there. It's just not there. It's 99.9 and then 39s. It's not there, nothing. So is it there or it's not? Well, to deny that it's there would be crazy. But to deny that we found that it's not there would be crazy too. So it's there and it's not there at the same time. And when you get that, you another one I love is just look at it again, because I'm looking at my hand here and I'm thinking, well, this is my hand. This is Tim's hand. It's my hand. It's 53 years old now, and it's been, changed and gone through a lot of stuff, but it's my hand. It is my body. And to deny that would be crazy. But I also know that there's not one cell, there's not one atom in my hand that was there when I was 43. So how's it my hand? How's it the same hand? So it's like, well, it is the same hand and it's not the same hand, depending on how you look at it. And both are true. So for me, the whole beauty of this paralogical thinking is it's like looking out of two eyes. You look out of one eye and you can't see any depth. But you look out of two eyes, you look from two perspectives and you can start to see depth. So for me, this helps us see depth, and it allows the process of awakening to be much easier. And perhaps the key one is the deep self. So much spirituality sets up this idea that there is a deep self, which there is. But to get at it, you've got to see through or get rid of the superficial self, or the separate self, the ego, whatever you want to call it. Whereas what I see is that the nature of the self is a paradox, what I call a paradoxity, and it coexists. So if I describe it right now really quickly, as best I can, there's Tim here, a body, but then as I come back, if you will, there's this presence of awareness, which isn't a thing at all. It's a subject. It's not an object. It's a presence, which is just there. It's not changing. It's completely still. It's being. And it's a spacious awareness within which the moment's arising, a bit like a dream. So which am I? Am I this separate individual called Tim, or am I this big spacious presence? Well, seems to be both at the same time. So I'm not this or that, I'm this and that. And this makes it much easier to get, because what I've seen is that on my retreats time after time, is that when people think they've got to get rid of, when they think the separateness is going to go to realize the oneness, they think they've failed, because the separateness doesn't go. But if you go, look, the separateness isn't going to go, that's like thinking you can have left without right, or in without out. They come together. The oneness and the separateness come together, like all opposites. So the separateness won't go. What will happen is you'll recognize the profound oneness as well. And you'll be able to look at the moment, look at the universe, experience what I call the universe vision, that it's a univariety. It's all one and it's all many at the same time. I am a separate self, one of many, and I am the profound oneness at the same time. I am the wave on the surface and the depths of the one ocean at the same time. And then this wow becomes readily available, like a breath away. You can just, oh, I see, got it. Ooh.